Good evening. My name is Chip Wilkins. I am the long-term care ombudsman here tonight. I know you're used to seeing Ms. Wellborn, Diane Wellborn, our county and school board, and for the time being, still the city. And we are so grateful tonight because we're going to celebrate and discuss Veterans and Veterans Day. And thought of the perfect individual to help us tonight learn more about veteran issues and concerns in the Dayton area. And we are happy and proud to present Mike Maloney, who is our veteran ombudsman specialist. And Mike, as a veteran ombudsman specialist, what background do you have with veterans in the military?
Well, Chip, thanks for having me on the show. We're only a couple of days from Veterans Day. I do appreciate being able to come on here because outreach to veterans is very important to us all. My background is pretty simple. I did 20 years in the military as a military police officer. I was a non-commissioned officer for most of those 20 years. And then I got out, did retail management for some years, did some social work. And then I ended up heavily involved in the veteran service organizations, the VFW, the American Legion, the DAV, which are all great time-honored organizations. However, they can use a little modernization and critical things that all veterans should know. Somehow, with all these organizations, we still have like gaps in information. Like what I do specifically. Specifically, I work with Medicaid now, and the ombudsman office hired me, and I'm very grateful for that. It gives me great opportunity to reach out and speak to many more veterans. But what I do specifically is look for folks that are on Medicaid, but due to their disability rating at the VA, they might be able to use VA facilities or VA contracted facilities as far as long-term care goes, and other matters for that matter. Any kind of if you're housebound and you any kind of need like that, you could get benefits from the VA, and this is not well
Because
known.
we're talking about long-term care and veteran. And let's break it down a little bit in terms of long-term care. When you say that, is that referring to any particular type of facility?
Well, there's
Nursing home?
right. So there's nursing homes and there's assisted living. That all falls under anything that requires services for someone to help them live. That's long-term care, and of course there's as you know, Chip, there's rehab. Within 90 days there's rehab, not considered long-term care. But once it's considered long-term care, that's where the ombudsman can help. In many cases, give the residents a voice,
Got it.
because a lot of times they're up against the bureaucracy that is the nursing facilities, and it can be quite intimidating. The ombudsman, in general, give them that voice and make sure their rights are protected.
That's important for
Right.
rights of residents, whether veterans or
Right.
civilian. And I think
Right.
that's one of the fundamental issues that so many times we go into facilities as ombudsman. And the number one issue I know that I see is that so many people aren't aware that residents have this Bill of Rights, and
Right.
that if they were able to communicate for themselves. A lot of residents can't do that. The rights are there for them to be protected, and I think that a lot of uh, the service that we do is really making sure those rights are being adhered to. And so those rights, because you're a veteran, they don't change at all, do they, or go away?
No, no, no. That's the basic ombudsman, what we just talked about. But with the veteran, it has more to do with benefits and them being able to keep their money. Because if you get into long-term care and you're on Medicaid, you lose all that extra. Any money that you make has to go into providing for your long-term care. If you do it through the VA, that's not the case. The VA picks up the tab for it if you're at that disability level, which I'm sure we'll talk about. All our disabilities and stuff. But I know that you're talking about in basic ombudsman. Like you said, it doesn't matter if you're a veteran or not. There's a certain degree and rights they all have that, quite frankly, a lot of them, think they're privileges or something that they can lose, just because they're, laid up in a nursing home. No,
You
you
know
still have
that
rights.
You're right, they do, and it's one of the rights I think is everyone should have the right to know how a lot of the long-term care system is set up. And I know that you mentioned Medicaid versus VA payment, and I think one of the things that I wanted to make sure the viewers knew tonight is that a lot of residents are in long-term care settings, and Medicare will pick up the initial stay at most facilities. But after that, there ends up being a question of who picks up the cost once Medicare runs out, because they will not cover more than 100 days. And so after Medicare runs out, then people are faced with either paying privately or private insurance. And if that is not available, then Medicaid. And Medicaid requires that any individual who has an income coming in, he will pick up the remainder. And I always give the example because I'm bad at math, and this is the way my brain operates, is that you of, let's say, $10,000 at most nursing homes. But if you, let's say, you had $1,000 of income, well, your $1,000 would go and knock that 10,000 down to none, and then Medicaid picks up the rest. But you lose all of your income goes to the nursing home, except for $50 that they allow for individual spending. So if a veteran goes into a nursing home, Mike, how is that veteran going to have to pay all his income and then Medicaid kicks in? How's that work?
Well, it depends. Again, if they're, it depends on the disability rating, and anybody over that 70% disability rating can get long-term care, taken care of by the VA, either through going to a VA home or going to a VA contracted facility. Everyone else would fall under that same system you're talking about. It was maybe 50% disabled or 40% disabled that hasn't been reevaluated by the VA for some time. There could be a possibility that we actually raise their rating to 70, depending on what it is. The reason I say that is because if you haven't been reevaluated, if you're a veteran and you haven't been evaluated by the VA within 10 years, the last 10 years, you really should get evaluated.
Well, Mike, explain how that works. Do you, when you leave the military, okay, you
Right.
serve 20 years, you're discharged, do they
Right.
do any kind of evaluation at your time of discharge?
At your time of discharge, yes. You have a VA physical, and they determine. That's not to say afterwards, you can be reevaluated because they always have these assumptions depending on places where you've served. Have these assumptions of they cause certain ailments, and that's updated and changed all the time. In fact, there's three new assumptions that have just come in. The navy blue water expands the Agent Orange outside the waters in certain areas. So it does matter where the service is and so forth, and it can be kind of complicated. But every county has a veteran service office that can drill this down to any veteran to a T, to exactly how this works. And
Well, Mike,
go ahead.
Sorry, I wanted to jump in because we've had a question and that came in from a viewer. It reads, "What are the VA certified nursing homes? What was a VA certified nursing home? And then what are the VA certified homes in our area?"
Well, that's a great question, but there's a long list.
Sure.
Depending on what area you're in. For example, in this area, Dayton, in the Montgomery County area, there's several to choose from. There's several, really good ones. Don't want to get too much into this, but there's surveys.
Well, what does it mean to be VA certified?
They go through the steps to where the VA adopts them as a facility. So in other words, if you're a veteran and you go to that facility, it's just like being in a VA. It would just be like but the VA itself here in Dayton has a nursing facility as well. Here in this area, there's several choices. Anybody that would, be interested in seeing all those choices could certainly reach out to us and we'd let them know. But there's many. You could even ask them, just off the top of my head, Willow Place is one of them here in Dayton. But I don't have the list in front of me.
So what I hear is that there are certain facilities that the VA has certified, and we have some of those facilities in our area. I guess the VA in certifying a facility, they wouldn't do that with a facility that, for instance, has anything but a good reputation.
Exactly. Yes. That's what I was saying.
There's
always an average and below average with nursing homes, and the VA contract, it sticks with the very serviceable ones and make sure they get the best possible care.
Mike, we have certified homes in the area, and you talked about the fact that most veterans have a disability rating of some kind, but what if I'm a veteran who is in a nursing home or contemplating a nursing home? How would I make sure that I am current in my disability rate percentages?
And that's you could reach out to me, of course, but every county in Ohio has a veteran service office. All you have to do is put your county name in there, and let's say Miami County Veteran Service Office. It'll come up there with that information, and they all have service officers that, know all this to a T. They'll even have an idea if you're in an assumptive area, like I was talking about, because that's continually updated again. Somebody that may have served in 1975, they just broaden the assumption. So that's somebody at that age that could be sitting in a nursing home and could use that to bump up their rating. And it's not a fast process, but it would be well worth it. Which, if you don't mind, Chip, I'd like to say, this is where planning becomes important, not just for veterans. To me, it's incumbent among all ombudsmen to talk planning to everybody. The baby boomers are all retiring and aging. There's going to be a swell, and this type of planning, especially on the veteran side, which I target, planning for the future. So if you're sitting somewhere and saying, well, I don't need long-term care, you still should look at your rating, to plan for the future. And that's something I would encourage all veterans out there watching, Veterans Day, to go out there and at least check that out and see where you're at before you.
Mike, what does it, in terms of disability? I know I've heard the term service-connected disability, and we've been throwing disability around. What does it mean to be service-connected?
Service-connected means your injury or your ailment is directly connected to your service, and that's how they get these VA disability ratings, service connected, and that's how some of them deservingly that have been injured or took on some kind of illness because of, let's say, the black smoke in Iraq or whatever the case may be. That compensation level is higher when it's service connected, of course.
Got it. So does the service have to be during any time period, peacetime, wartime, or
I'm glad you asked that, because it's inherently dangerous just being in the military. Moving vehicles, whatever the mission may be, that in itself has its danger level to it. So no, it doesn't matter if it's wartime or peacetime. Again, and let's say you had an infected area like Fort McClellan, Alabama is a good. It had a contaminated area to it. There was never any war or anything like there, but there's an assumption to that area as well, because it was a contaminated area. So no, not at all. It does not matter if it's wartime or peacetime. The danger is still the same.
Clear to the viewers that Vietnam veterans were uniquely exposed to certain dangers. Their disability is treated a little differently. Could you explain that, Mike?
I didn't hear it fully. I think you lagged a little bit. Can you say no question?
Well, that's the beauty of our modern age. Sorry.
Yeah.
You spoke earlier of Vietnam veterans and some of the unique disabilities they were subject to incurring because of the unique dangers in Vietnam. If you could tell us a little bit about that so the Vietnam veterans are aware of what is service-connected disability.
Right. Well, for that area, it is very unique because, again, they just expanded the blue water that included a lot of sailors now. It was very, very big for folks in the Navy. So especially folks that served in the Navy during Vietnam, if they haven't been evaluated for some time, I think that would just do them well to go in to see their veteran service officer.
What is blue water?
What's that?
What's blue water?
It's it had to do with when they said they were spraying Agent Orange. Right. They were saying that water over that area was also contaminated, and therefore the Navy, because there's so many ailments that are connected to Agent Orange, or those exposures, that the folks in those those Navy vessels are included as well in the assumptions now.
So, and I know you went through some of the a Vietnam veteran, and my doctor diagnoses me with diabetes. That something would be subject to connection to service in Vietnam.
That's exactly right. That's exactly correct. And diabetes is actually one of them. There's so many others. I mean, and I have a book, that's just full of this. And it'd be good for anyone to have this book. But again, the VSOs will set you straight.
Great. Well, that the importance, I think, is knowing that whatever service someone provided for their country, that uh, if there was some sort of injury or ailment connected to that service, it should be something that is accounted for, particularly as we get older and need more and more help medically.
Yeah, I think that's the takeaway message right there. That especially if you have something unexplained, or if you've served and you have ailments that pop up on your in your body or something like that, it's something definitely you want to look at as far as your service was, for sure.
And so I'm a veteran, and well, we'll come back to that question because we just had another one come in. Uh, is there a good degree of camaraderie between veterans and the facilities that I could expect if I were to go there, especially Vietnam veterans?
Uh, that is a very good question because I think it's very good. I have to be honest. There's been some people that are hesitant to go to the VA facilities because they don't feel they're going to be treated as well because, quite frankly, at the facility that they're at, they have veteran status. At the VA facility, everybody has it. So I don't know if that's it wholly or anything like that, but I have some people hesitant did not want to move because I'm pretty happy where I am in this little small area. But from my experience, seeing the folks there in the VA contracted facilities and the VA homes, it's one big happy family in there. I think I'd recommend it to anyone because of the camaraderie and because of the commonplace those folks are at. I think it's exceptional. But I did want to say that there's some people that scares them that they to get back in that to get back in that arena.
Mike, we talked about nursing homes and then VA nursing homes. What is a VA nursing home? Is it is there anything unique about the VA nursing homes?
The VA nursing homes are strictly for veterans.
Okay,
The VA contracted is a open nursing home to anyone, and plus somebody that's eligible for VA benefits can go there, like a VA home, like a
right.
VA nursing home. But the VA nursing homes are exceptional. I mean, I go in and out of there all the time. Exceptional professionals in there.
And I think this is a good time to really differentiate between nursing home, kind of short care versus nursing home, for instance, for physical therapy after a surgery. They go in, have
Right.
surgery, then they go to the facility, the nursing home, and they go through therapy, and then they go home. And I would guess that the veterans can do that type of nursing home short-term stay
Right.
at the VA nursing home. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
And it doesn't
And they
matter their disability percentages or
right,
anything like that.
and in that instance too, even if they're on Medicaid, they don't lose their VA stuff in that in that short term, in that 100 days that you were talking about.
Times is that someone goes in for that surgery and then ends up with an infection afterwards, and lo and behold, 100 days comes and goes, and now the veteran needs to be in the nursing home long-term care for a period of time that's longer than 100 days. So in the VA nursing homes, can a veteran stay there after 100 days, or do they have to have a
No, no.
certain disability rating?
Oh no, I'm pretty sure they stay in there, especially if they're in the whole VA system. I think they have a system for that,
So those
and
have to be very coveted.
it's not because that 100 days I'm pretty sure has to do with insurance and pretty much.
That's right. And then the Medicare discontinues because they run the 100 days, and normally at that point, Medicaid would pick up, and the veterans who are in the community, what, if any, benefits are there for being in a nursing home as opposed to a VA nursing home?
Well, I think again the contracted facility it's open to the public, so there's going to be a mix of every demographic that is available in that area, and of course the VA facility is going to be strictly for veterans, and then obviously the VA is not for profit, is not a for-profit organization. And a lot of people, would suggest that the quality of care is a little bit higher because they're not for profit. When you pinch pennies and so forth, and you go get for profit, maybe they don't get the greatest care.
But I know in the community, a lot of times there can be a fairly good distance between where the veteran lives and the VA facility, because I know that is located in Dayton, but the veteran may live in Sydney. The
Right.
family being able to come and visit is really extended, at least the period of time that they need to come and go, as opposed to maybe a contracted home that's 5-10 minutes away.
Exactly.
Would be another area where we see folks calling, asking about the program. And so, Mike, if I am in the program that you're working with now, if I am a veteran and I am in a nursing home, or I know I'm going to need nursing home care for a considerable amount of time, in that instance, what is it that your program would do to help make sure that I am maximizing my benefits?
Right, and that goes back to getting an evaluate there. And I see we got a question there too, but I think what you're asking is what exactly my program does.
Correct.
What exactly I'm after? What I'm after is to make sure veterans at the highest evaluation level they can possibly be. And if they're not at a very high level now, and they have some ailments that have come out, it's all a matter of talking and discussing and knowing each person's story. But that's to maximize where their disability rating is.
Is that something that you're always going to do? Is try and maximize the veterans' disability rating?
Right. Because in essence, if I get everybody at their highest rating possible, I put myself out of a job, because the idea is to keep veterans off Medicaid and on to the VA where it belongs, to where the money's properly allocated. That's what I strive to do. But you've hit a lot of good points here. Sometimes they don't want to move. Sometimes the veteran's happy where they're at.
Yeah.
And this other facility, is farther away for the spouse. Which I see the question there.
Speaking of spouses, that was a beautiful segue. We had a new question. How does a veteran living in a VA certified facility impact the spouse?
That is a fantastic question, and it leads me right into what we were talking about. The big difference maker in the decision. Well, first, if you got to qualify first. So the first decision is to go in there and get reevaluated and make sure you're at the level you're supposed to be at for your physical situation. But how that becomes important is the spouse is used to the income, especially if you're 70% disabled or higher, you're getting some kind of money from the VA.
Okay.
Medicaid wants that money if you're in Medicaid and nursing home. If you go to a VA contracted facility or a VA home, that money is still yours and it will still go to the spouse.
So long as you're that
Right,
70% or higher.
right, and that's why it impacts the spouse financially. If not in a certified facility, it's going to hurt the spouse financially, and that's always a big key in trying to getting people to move and so forth.
That was another question that I was asked is what is aid and attendance, and is that impacted by your program?
Aid and attendance, it's not really, though. It's not really impacted by my program, but it is something that's out there that some folks don't know about. Now, this is different, though. Aid and attendance is different in that it's not service connected based or anything like that. It's income based, and it's meant for lower income folks that qualify for the VA.
And who's that for?
It's for veterans and their spouses that require long-term care, and it has to be signed off by your doctor, of course, that you require long-term care. I say this because it could be home care, it could be assisted living, it could be nursing home. But I think Chuck and I, my compadre up in the north, I think we just talked about it. I think the income base is $2,000. So after it's all said and done, I think like say your income is only $900, and I believe it will suit you up. In attendance will suit you up to $2,000.
Okay.
To help with your care and so forth. And that's how it is. It's based off income. And again, the place you want to go for that, I'll be happy to, get you there or whatever the case would be. But the Veteran Service Office, again, they know all about this as well. Aid and attendance, it's another one of those things that are underused. I think there's veterans out there that don't apply for this because they don't know it's there.
And if I heard you correct, Mike, you said there is a Veteran Service Office in every county in Ohio.
County. Yes, sir.
So if I was a veteran that was in Montgomery County, I would go to the Montgomery County Veteran Service Office.
Well, you don't have to. It's not a requirement. Just because I live in Montgomery County, which I do, I can go to any service office. They'll help me. They'll help wherever.
Well, that's convenient.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit, if we could, about the type of benefits that veterans get with their disability. I know we touched on this a little bit, but is that like an income or a set amount that someone's going to receive every month?
Correct. For the service-connected disability, I think I'm pretty sure you have to be at 30% or higher to be eligible for compensation. And with every percentage that is raised, obviously the compensation is raised. Based on severity and so forth. And it's a big medical calculation and so forth. But yeah, that is your VA disability. It's not taxed.
The reason I wanted to clarify that was because if I am a veteran in a nursing home that's not VA contracted, and I'm in that nursing home and I go past 100 days, if I am then switched to Medicaid, then at that point my income, including my disability, would
Just take it.
then go to the nursing home in many cases. Is that
That's
fair?
exactly right. That's exactly right. That's why you want to go to a VA contracted facility if you're eligible, for sure. For sure.
Because let's say someone was getting $1,000 a month from their VA disability. If I was in a nursing home that's not contracted with the VA, that $1,000 would be going to the facility. However,
And,
if I was in a VA contracted home, that $1,000 would be going to me or my family.
spouse, that's right. And in many cases, that's how it affects the spouse mostly. I mean, just circles right back around to it. A lot. Some people say, "Oh, well, what does it matter? Who pays?" Well, it does, because the family gets it. Because if they're generally, if the resident is in the nursing home, they don't need a lot of cash, but the family still needs support.
And I think it's important to reiterate that this is something that the government is rightly doing for its veterans because they have given of themselves to their country, and many have suffered injury or disability during that service or related to the service. And I think we, as Americans who are appreciative of that service, this is something that we really want veterans to be taken care of and to know all of their rights, as well as the best ways to maneuver in a very complex system of insurance, because Medicare, Medicaid by itself is not easy, is it?
No, it's very it's some complicated stuff too. That's why you want to talk to the right people about this, for sure.
Really do. And there is.
We
Go ahead,
plan.
Mike. I'm sorry.
No, we plan our lives, and we plan every part of our lives. But it seems like we don't want to plan our aging, and the fact that what's going to happen to us. We don't want to plan that, and I think it's important we all do. Regardless whether you're a veteran or not, you really should plan for this. If you don't, your family is going to plan it for you.
I spoke with a family last week that was struggling because a family member of theirs was in a nursing home with no planning, including they did not have a power of attorney created before this. So there were multiple children and siblings really frustrated because they can't do certain things medically because there wasn't a clear directive. And that's planning is again so important, because you take so much stress off of your loved ones too, who are grieving enough. Good question that just came in, kind of hot off the presses. Mike, could you tell us some stories or one or two about veterans' lives and how they've been changed by relocating to certified VA certified nursing home?
Wow, it feels like I'm cheating with these questions. This is a fantastic segue into the other thing I want to mention. I believe in getting into the VA as much as you can, because not only is there long-term care there, all these other benefits we've talked about, but there's connection. There's people that know people that know people that know people that can get and help anyone that needs help. I know of a particular fellow that we got. He didn't need nursing home per se, but he was near homeless, and the VA put him in a spot there and got him turned around because there's so many services there that can reach out and touch somebody once you're in there, once it's identified. And I know that there's lots of folks that, you know, they're nervous, they don't want to be identified, and they think, oh, I'm not sick, I don't need to go there. But there's so much there, and there's so much information there. But this particular fella got turned around enough to where the VA offered him a job, and he works at the VA now. You know, that's you know, one turnaround story I can tell you.
Well, I can tell one as well from almost 2 years ago now. It's hard to believe how time has flown.
Yeah.
But we had a veteran that really had reached the point. The veteran was in a long-term care facility, a nursing home that was not VA contracted. So all of the veteran's income was going to the nursing home. And then Medicaid would pick up the remainder after all of the income had been given to the nursing home. And the veteran had a spouse, and actually at that time had a child and grandchild in the home. And it was quite a jolt to the family when there was a reduction in the income stream coming to the house. And in that particular case, we were able to help that veteran. They were not at 70% disabled yet, but they were able to get to that 70%. And it was a 20% increase, but they literally had not been evaluated since they were discharged 30 years ago from service. And then the veteran found a contracted VA home that was close to his family, within a 20-minute drive. But the veteran really could have said they would have gone to a truck stop and just stayed there because they were so thankful that that income was going back to the family because it was needed. It was part of what they had become accustomed to having, and the family was very extended in that case. And that is not uncommon in our world today. We all have different families, and they look different. Some are big, some are all over the place, some are small, but it was clear that in this case we were able to bring the veteran peace, and more than anything, that's what we want to do. I think that's the key. Now,
I was going to give you one more example.
Sure.
Working with a fellow now, of course, no names. Working with a fellow now that he's been he showed up in a nursing room, but he's a nursing home, but he's been kind of homeless, and his VA benefits have been held. So we're working with him now. He's got a bunch of money coming.
That's great.
And he's ecstatic about it.
I imagine that will help him
get on
find
there,
a place in the community. Yeah, that's great. Well, really, I want to make sure we talk for a moment before we have to say goodnight about the VA nursing homes themselves. You mentioned there was one in Dayton. I know, Mike, from my travels, there's one in Sandusky as well.
Oh, yeah, a nice one, yeah. Georgetown.
Right. Georgetown, there's one.
Mm-hmm.
Any others in the area?
Actual homes, no. But
So,
like I said, there's many contracted facilities that,
right.
take our pick and look at all. We could look at all of them if, they're,
Well, I know the one that we mentioned in Sandusky, for instance, that is right on the lake in the Sandusky area.
oh
It's a
yeah, beautiful facilities. Yes. Yeah.
beautiful setting.
Yeah.
And is that one of those facilities just for veterans?
In Sandusky, I believe so. Yes, the Sandusky Veteran Home. Yes. Yeah. And
And
same thing with Georgetown. Georgetown's a beautiful facility too. Jimmy there in Second has always been telling me to come down there and tour it. I'm going to one of these days. I see pictures
well,
though.
good. Is the program, or are you able, if someone wanted to, say, transfer to a VA facility like the one in Sandusky or uh, Georgetown, is that something you can assist with?
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely. We could get that done for them. All they got to do is reach out to us. I'm sure our info is going to be up here.
Good, good. Well, the VA facilities in the Dayton area, I do know that they go through quite a rigorous inspection by the VA. And in fact, nursing homes, I can say, are certified by the state, but also by Medicare and Medicaid, who do their own independent certification. And in the case of VA contracted homes, the VA comes in and does an even more exhaustive search of the facility and tests the facility, make sure that it's up to veteran standards. And because of that, the VA is going back and looking every year at all of these facilities. And I won't say which ones, but even in this last calendar year of 2020, the VA shut or closed 5 facilities because they did not believe they were up to snuff. And I shouldn't say close.
They closed their
incorrect.
contract with them.
They closed their contract.
With them, yeah. Yes.
And so it is.
And I think that's a good thing, Chip. I think that's a good
contracted
thing.
home, you can rely on that, it sounds
Right.
like.
And the watchdogs, the VAs for that. So in other words, Dayton VA contracts with the facilities in the area. Toledo VA, all the other VAs, take care of their own areas. So it's local overwatch, which is good, because sometimes if you get too high up, they can't see what's going on. But this is all local. The Dayton VA facilities are watched by the Dayton VA, and so forth.
Yeah, that is. And I think it's important to let the viewers know that whether they're in a VA contracted home or
Right.
a non-contracted home, whether it's a nursing home or assisted living facility, if there is a complaint that you have regarding the care and treatment of yourself or your loved one, that's what the Ombudsman's office, at least our division in long-term care, that is what we are here for. We are to be advocates and to help residents through the process because it is so complex. On top of that, it is something that most of us, when we go or are introduced to long-term care for the first time, we don't know much. I mean, we don't know what we don't know. And so many questions come to mind. And that is what ombudsmen are here for. If you have questions about care and treatment, if you have questions about long-term care, that's really the heart and soul of what we do as ombudsman. And Mike, you bring a component because you are a veteran specialist, and are veterans subject to different types of oh, either physical or uh, mental issues or challenges because of service? Do you see one type more than another?
I think the biggest thing I see is unwillingness to get help for themselves.
Oh,
I I see that a lot. They all, oh, I don't need that and so forth. When in fact, if you're a veteran and you don't sign up for the VA, you're actually helping. You're hurting your comrades, because the more people we get to sign up to VA, the more services and funds that are available to it. So you really need to sign up with them. Uh,
you do.
yeah.
Well, and the veterans that you are working with, do they have to be in a nursing home before they can call you?
No, not at all. Not at all. I like doing front work. I know it doesn't pay the bills, but I like getting people to plan and getting them to think about their future before it's too late for them to get in there.
Got it. And as we wind up tonight, is there anything you want Mike to add to the program about Veterans Day and perhaps what that means to you as a veteran?
Well, yeah, I would first thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'd wish all the veterans out there a happy Veterans Day. It's coming up Thursday. I'm sure there's going to be free beans everywhere. Should enjoy it and enjoy who
Free
we are.
beans.
Oh yeah, it's a big tradition at the veteran service organizations. Ham and beans. You can get ham and beans anywhere.
All right.
Uh,
Well, ham
It's
and
just
beans away.
it's just a tradition, but yeah, I'm very happy and I'm very excited about the opportunity with the Ombudsman office. The Ombudsman office is like Chip said, we're about being advocates, and that's what we are, advocates first for everyone. I like that I specialize in veterans, but I advocate for anyone that needs help. And if you're not sure, if you don't think you're being treated right, you probably aren't. Give us a call.
That's right. And it is, we all know that there are going to be issues wherever we're at that are quickly resolved, but when there are repeated issues that continually are occurring or more than once, it can be as frustratingly simple as not responding to a call light to having to wait 3 or 4 hours for medications,
Not being able to visit,
not being able to visit, which has been a
huge.
huge issue in the last year. Thankfully, we are finally, since really July, we are now starting to hopefully see some of the positivity rates of COVID in the counties going down. But it is, I will tell anyone listening that if you have difficulties visiting your loved one in a nursing home or assisted living facility, please call us. That is right now in 2021 will be our number one complaint that we have responded to, because there are so many families that are just frustrated and are in a real difficult time because a close member of their family or a close friend is going through long-term care and really needs that support, and they're not getting it. And there are many ways we can advocate for visitation, and we will do that. And Mike, I imagine that there are similar visitation restrictions in VA facilities right now.
In a lot of cases, they're stricter. The
Are
federal
they?
government's stricter. Generally they're stricter.
Yeah. Well, It is something that we know is a tremendous issue, but it will resolve soon, we hope. I think about where we were a year ago, and people were still, quarantining for 14 days or longer after going to a doctor's visit, and hopefully that was it. So we are here if you need us for anything related to long-term care, veteran issues. That is what we do. Mike, thank you so much for
Thank you, Chip.
being with us tonight. That's it. Thank you.